I have never told this to anyone. Not even to myself. This story lived inside me like a person buried alive, without screams, but with constant knocking from within. A knocking that reminds you, the living cannot simply disappear. It beats. It scratches. It demands a way out. And now, years later, I finally dare to dig it up into the light. Maybe to find peace at last. Or maybe to understand whether peace was ever possible at all. I grew up in a house where childhood was a luxury I was never given. My parents drank their entire lives. From morning till night. Our small house, soaked in the stench of alcohol and cigarette smoke, felt like a temple of hell. Alcohol became their religion. Their god and their devil in one bottle. They prayed with bottles. And offered sacrifices to each other, with fists, shards of glass, and words that cut deeper than knives. Fights flared up like matches. My father beat my mother. My mother beat my father. And when they ran out of strength, their rage fell on me. The words mom and dad were never protection for me. They were synonyms for fear, pain, and loneliness. I hid under the bed, covered my ears, and dreamed of just one thing, becoming invisible. I grew up too early. Not because I wanted to, but because there was no other way to survive. By the age of 12, I was already drinking, smoking, and disappearing into the streets at night. Cold asphalt felt warmer than the walls of my home. The street became my home. And strangers' hands became the only way to feel something in this numb world. I clung to random boys. To rough touches. To the illusion of closeness. Then came illegal drugs. First weed. Then something stronger, something that blurred my mind and allowed me to forget. I wasn't looking for rock bottom. I was simply falling there. Layer by layer. Losing myself in the abyss. School. Friends. A future. All of that felt like a fairy tale for others. Not for me. At 15, I got pregnant. I don't even know by whom. The faces of those boys merged into one blurred silhouette soaked in alcohol and despair. I found out only in my 6th month. I was too thin. Too broken by life to immediately understand that someone else was growing inside me. My body was changing, but I ignored the signals. I blamed nausea on hangovers. Exhaustion on sleepless nights. When the truth finally caught up with me, I was standing in front of a cracked bathroom mirror, not recognizing myself. My belly stuck out like a traitor, exposing the secret. I hid it until the very end. I hunched over. Wore loose clothes. Held my breath, as if becoming invisible could make it not happen. I was afraid of everything. My parents, who would have killed me. The streets, which would have judged me. And myself, because how could I be a mother if I hadn't even saved myself? Labor came suddenly. On a rainy night. I was alone. In an abandoned building on the outskirts. An old factory where machines once roared, and now there was only silence and water dripping from the roof. No light. No help. Not a single scream. I bit my lips until they bled so I wouldn't give myself away. Pain tore me apart, as if my body was taking revenge for years of neglect. And then it was over. She lay beside me. Small. Warm. Alive. My daughter. Her tiny fingers curled into fists. Her breathing was so quiet that I pressed my ear to her chest to make sure she was there. She was breathing. I wrapped her in my old sundress, soaked with sweat and cigarettes. Then I found a dirty towel and added it for warmth. And then I placed her into a plastic bag lying on the ground. At night, I carried her to the nearest park. Street lights flickered with yellow light. Leaves rustled under my feet like whispers of judgment. I sat on a bench and stared at her for a long time. On her shoulder was a birthmark, a tulip. Bright. As if painted by an artist. I traced it with my finger, memorizing every line. That was the last thing I allowed myself to remember. Then I left. Without looking back. Leaving her there, hoping someone would find her, save her, and give her what I couldn't. And I never told anyone a word. The secret settled in my soul like sediment at the bottom of a bottle. Bitter. Inevitable. Years passed like trains rushing by an abandoned station. I grew older. Put myself back together piece by piece. I stopped drinking, it felt like ripping roots from the ground. Painful. But necessary. I found a job in a small cafe. Made coffee. Smiled at customers. Hid scars beneath long sleeves. I tried to live correctly. The way people do when no one ever taught them how. I went to church. Tried to believe in a God who seemed to have turned away from me long ago. I married a quiet man. A mechanic. With oil-stained hands and a heart full of patience. We had a son. Max. He was born disabled. Problems with his legs made every step torture. Doctors spoke of genetics. Of my past. And I thought, this is my punishment. And maybe my chance to atone for that night in the park. I took care of him. Day after day. Year after year. Fed him. Bathed him. Carried him in my arms. I visited my aging parents, now pitiful shadows of who they once were. I lived a quiet life. Without screams. Without loud joy. Without echoes of the past. I almost learned to forget. Almost. But sometimes, at night, the memory returned. One evening, I turned on the television. A music show was on. And suddenly, a girl appeared on stage. Beautiful. With long blonde hair. Her voice was clear and piercing. The camera zoomed in. And I saw her shoulder. A tulip. The world narrowed to the screen. It was her. My daughter. I wrote letters. Careful ones. Without confessions. But with hints. There was no reply. And then a letter came. The name of a corporation on the envelope. I opened it. It said, "If you want to meet Michaela, come to this address." The next day, I was there. I was met and led into an office. A woman was sitting there. "My name is Anna. I am Michaela's mother. I understand that you are her biological mother. I do not want to know why you appeared after 20 years. All letters and everything concerning her go through me. She will not know about you. And she must not." She handed me an envelope. "Here is money. For your son. But if you try to come closer, I will destroy your life. I will crush you and your family like cockroaches. Believe me." She left, leaving me alone. I took the money. Judge me. I judged myself in that moment. But tell me, why would I matter to her? She wouldn't have forgiven me. I hadn't forgiven myself. And I had a chance to save the one who looked at me every day and called me mom. She already had everything. Fame, family, a future. And Max had only me, and a wheelchair. We moved to another city. Quiet. Green. I bought a house with a garden where my son could play. We treated him. Surgeries. Rehabilitation. And one day, after months of struggle, he took his first steps. Unsteady. But his own. For this sin, I will answer before God. And that day will come. I buried my secret deep underground. And planned to take it to my grave. But life does not like unfinished stories. Years passed. Max grew up. He stood on his feet. He became an artist. He painted flowers. And one of his favorite motifs was the tulip. Those paintings were everywhere in our home. I looked at them and smiled through tears. And then, on a rainy evening, when the sky cried the way I had cried that night 25 years ago, the doorbell rang. I opened the door. And the world stopped. She stood there. Michaela. Grown. Even more beautiful than on the screen. Her long blonde hair was wet from the rain. Her blue eyes were full of pain, anger, and questions. In her hands were those very envelopes. "I know everything," she whispered. "Anna, my mother, left this for me before she died." "Why? Why did you leave me? I've felt empty my whole life. Like something was missing." Tears poured from me. I fell to my knees, clutching her legs. "Forgive me. I had no right." She lifted me by the shoulders. "No. You should not kneel before me. You are a stranger to me. But I am here. And I want to talk. You did give birth to me. And out of gratitude for the fact that I was born at all, I want to talk to you." We sat in the kitchen. 2 cups of tea stood between us. We never touched them. I told her everything. About my parents. The streets. The fear. The factory. The bag. The park. The tulip. "I don't know if I can forgive," she said. "Maybe never. But I want to understand. And that is already more than hatred." At that moment, Max entered the room. "Is that him?" she asked. I nodded. "Hi. I'm your sister." He smiled. And shook her hand. That evening, there were no loud words. No promises. There was tea. Silence. And conversations until dawn. As she was leaving, she turned back. "I'll come again. Not because I have to. But because I want to understand." When the door closed, I didn't cry. I listened to the ticking of the clock. This is how time sounds when it no longer runs away. I lost her twice. And for the 3rd time, I will stay. I will fight not for love, but for forgiveness. If you are listening to me now, and carrying a secret that makes it hard to breathe, know this. Silence does not heal. Take a step toward the truth. I believe in you.